Good afternoon. I hope you are well. Today, I want to talk about the difference between the sole prop or sole proprietary and PTY, private company. So most of the people register for the PTY and they don't know what to do after registration. So my advice would be don't register the PTY if you do not know what you're going to do with it. Rather trade as a sole prop, because as a sole prop, you don't need to register with CIPC. You just trade as an individual. Let's say it's me, I want to trade as Mr. Matiza, trading or advertising or marketing or whatever. I can trade as a sole prop without registering a company. And then it means that whatever income that I generate, I'll have to declare it to SARS. And then the expenses, I need to differentiate between my personal expenses and the expenses of the business. And that's where you'll be able to deduct the expenses that relates to business from the income that I generate as a sole prop. Whereas with the company, it's different because the company, you need to ensure that you comply with Companies Act of 2008. So you need to make sure that you keep your financial records. You need to make sure that if you reach a certain threshold, your AFS get audited or independently reviewed. So if you have a PTY, it's important that you do your annual financial statements, because you cannot submit your annual tax return without the annual financial statements. So you need to do those things. They are important. And you also need to ensure that you submit your annual return at CIPC. So you must do it annually. Whether you are trading or you are not trading, you must submit it to CIPC, and you must also submit the return to South African Revenue Services, SARS. That's the compliance that you need to do. As long as you register the PTY, you do not have a choice. It's a must. You need to ensure that you comply by submitting your CIPC returns annually, and you need to comply by submitting your income tax returns annually. So you need to do those things. You don't have a choice. Whereas if you are trading as a sole proprietary, you don't need to submit anything to CIPC because you are not registered. You are trading as an individual. So the only thing that you need to do is to file your returns. So whatever income that you're generating as a sole prop, you need to submit the return for that. And then we can assist you in terms of how you can structure the two, whether you want to open a PTY or you want to trade as a sole prop. But my advice would be, if you have a small business, you just started trading, just trade as a sole prop, as opposed to registering a company. Because if you register a company, you need to ensure that you maintain the company that you have registered. You can't just say that because your company is dormant, you're not trading, therefore you don't need to submit the CIPC return and you don't need to submit the income tax return. You still need to submit those things. That's why most of the people, their company end up being deregistered, because they register the company when they are not ready. So be ready to trade and register a company. But if you're not ready, I'll advise that you trade as a sole prop, because there's no legal requirements for you to register a sole prop. It's just only the return that you need to submit, and we can, actually assist you in terms of compiling those returns. Another thing that I want to add is that even if you have a side hustle, you can start to start a side hustle as a sole prop, as opposed to registering a company, unless you are ready to comply with the Companies Act in terms of, making sure that you keep the company records, you do the AFS, you submit your annual tax returns, and you also submit your CIPC returns. If you need assistance, we're here to help you. Get in touch. Thank you.